Good morning, this is Mona, and this is my Morning View, Spring Edition 2025. Welcome to the construction zone. You will be hearing construction devices behind me. Hopefully not too loud and too annoying or too distractive. Today, it is Tips Tuesday. So, Winter Edition 2025. Oh, no. See, I said winter. Spring Edition 2025. It is cold. It is feeling like winter right now. Overcast, windy, cold breeze. Couldn't find my pink hat this morning. We're wearing pink for neurodiversity at school today. So, with that, burr. Trying to not let the cold be a distraction, because I dress more for spring than I did for winter. All right. So today, Tips Tuesday, I am going to talk about speech. I have talked before about how the American language does not really express feelings or differentiations from a certain word. For example, love. So we know of at least 5 Greek words for love, and they have different meanings toward those words. For in the English language, we have love. 1, love. I love pizza. I love my friends. I really love that color. I love my children. I love my spouse. 2 different ways there. I love my spouse, and then I love my spouse. So yes, you can voice inflect a little to express what you're trying to get at. But for the most part, love is just love in the English language. Then you have, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever should believe in him should have everlasting life. Love. A unconditional, self-sacrificing, I've said it this way. I will run into a burning building to save a friend. I will run into a burning building to, didn't realize it was going to hit so personal to me. This scenario that I've said for years and years, and now it's coming up. So I would run into a burning building for somebody I didn't like, because I would be in hopes that I would survive and save them. But if I died saving them, it wouldn't keep me from running in there to save them. What would keep me from running in there to save them is my husband would hold me back, because he knows how I get. I will lose all self-safety for someone else, and he does not want me to get hurt. So sometimes he will go do it for me, and then I'm, concerned about him. But needless to say, I do that. But what I would not do is if somebody that was near and dear to me, that I loved, committed a crime, and they were getting the death penalty. And for some weird law that doesn't exist, but just for the scenario's sake, said that you could take the place of that individual so that somebody dies, but not that individual. So you may take their place. So you can volunteer to be put to the death for a crime you did not commit, for a person who did commit the crime. That's not me. I'm not Jesus. Okay? Not. So my spectrum of love from way over here, I love pizza, to way over here, for God so loved the world, I fall in the center range, and I go back and forth, probably on the lower spectrum. Just keeping it real, R-E-A-L. All right, so with that, that's the word for love. I know of at least 7 words for praise in Hebrew. So you have all these different types of praise. The quiet praise. The our football team just won praise. The singing songs praise. There's all these different praises, and we're not talking about that. I think I may have done a series on those, or at least part of those. I don't know if I ever finished the series. Things got hectic and I didn't get a chance to go back and do them, I don't think. So anyways, actually I think I was going to write the words down under the video that I did about praise. But we're not talking about praise. We're not talking about love. We're talking about words. We're talking about how words in the English language just sometimes don't cut it, because we have multiple words in other languages for like our one word. And a lot of times our words don't mean the same thing in another country. For example, certain words that we call for like a nickname for something, right? And they may have a nickname for something, but it means completely different in our language, and our word means completely different in their language. And so they don't comprehend, they don't understand. So it's that phrase lost in translation. And so what happens with this is, here we have Christians that talk a certain way, and people that are not in that culture, they do not understand. Now they use a word nowadays that Christians use that word. It's a Christian word that they use. Christianese, okay? That's saying they're speaking the language that is known within the Christian context. And they say it in a negative form. There's nothing wrong with speaking in a language of culture amongst yourselves where you understand yourselves. Okay? However, when you're speaking outside of that culture and you use those words, they don't understand what you're saying. They don't comprehend what you're trying to grasp. And so sometimes they get offended because some of our words can be offensive. For example, some friends of ours had gone to England one time. I don't know if it's still the same word being used, but at that time, in our English language, when we eat too much, we say we're stuffed. Ah, I'm stuffed. But there, it meant that you were pregnant. And they see this young girl, teenage girl, say, oh, I'm stuffed. It could be offensive. So we have to be careful outside our culture what words we speak. Especially if there are words that mean something different in another culture. Not just a word that they don't understand the meaning of, but that it's translated into something that is not what you're trying to convey. So there are times in my videos when I am not speaking to Christians. Although most of my videos, I am speaking to those people that believe in the Bible. They believe in the Bible. They believe that the Bible has some really good things to say. They may not believe that it's inspired word of God. Maybe they don't believe in God, but they believe that the Bible has some good things to say. So a lot of times I'm speaking to those people. but they are not in the Christian culture, right? And because they're not in that Christian culture, if I use Christian words, they're not going to understand what I'm trying to convey. So a lot of times I use words that are in their culture so that they can understand. And then that gets the Christians all riled up. Oh, you're talking stuff like New Age and, cultic things and, calm down. Semantics. We're dealing with trying to get them to understand a concept that they understand, that we already have the truth for, but we don't say it in their language. We don't say it in their language. How are you ever going to tell somebody God's is love if you cannot speak their language? Well, the only other way is to keep your mouth shut and show Jesus' love, which is a more preferable way. But you can't do that here. I have my doggie back here that I can show Jesus' love to. Where'd she go? The star of the show. I could do that. But I'm not going to reach people online, in social media, in spaces where I'm not physically at, to show Jesus' love to. So I have to use speech. I guess I could mime it out, but that would still be a language. Just like sign language is language, right? How many people get offended when people do this and they're like, you're doing the horns. And it's like, oh no, the horns are like that. Or, that. It depends on what your culture has connected to that particular sign. It's just like words. Just like words. What are you saying? Why are you doing it? A lot of the kids in school, they get offended by kids saying words that they consider inappropriate words. For example, one of the girls said that she has big balls. She was not referring to body parts. She was referring to balls. The round things, the spheres. Within context, I said within context, that word is not bad. That is not an inappropriate word. It's not. It's in context. She's talking about the things that you bounce or throw, or we're not talking body parts, guys. Not every word that you think it's. They said shut up. That's a bad word. They said the S word. That's what it is. They said the S word. And the S word is shut up. I'm sitting there thinking in my head they're saying the other S word. Is it less offensive if we say it in another language? Scheiße. I don't know. I don't think so. I think whatever context you're using it in determines whether it's a word that was inappropriate. But if you're using it in context, if you're raising dogs and you have female dogs that are in heat, what do you call them? It's a word that's in context. It's not a bad word. But people have been so offended that even the sound of the word, even in context, is offensive. So when we say the words like manifest, or what are some other like new agey words? Can't think of any right now. But just because we say those words, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. What happens when those things become seen? It's faith in action. It's those things that Okay, you're bringing it forth. You're taking what is in heaven and you're bringing it to earth. It's manifestation. When a demon manifests through a human, there could be facial expressions, body expressions, rage, anger, depending on the type of demon that you're dealing with, shame, they could throw up. They could get angry. They could start, foaming at the mouth. I've seen it. We didn't attribute it to demonization. A lot of times we attribute it to drunkenness. But guess what? There's a reason why the word spirits are at the liquor store. I think I'm going to go pick up a few spirits. They're not holy. And I'm not advocating not drinking. I'm talking about getting drunk is a good way to open yourself up to spirits. So that's where a word really does bring in the meaning of what you're trying to convey, even though that's not the normal word for it. Normal word for it is liquor or alcohol. However, spirits really puts it into perspective. So I wanted to do this to tell you about those videos that I've had in the past that I'm bringing forward, that I'll probably say again, that may be in language that you're not used to because you're in this culture that we use certain languages, with certain words, certain phrases. And I may say phrases that are outside of that culture, because I'm opening this up to YouTube. And because I'm opening it up to YouTube, it's a wider range of people that may come across my videos. All right, so today, I did it again. I did not say subscribe. Hit the like button, comment, hit the notifications, do all the stuff, get all the bells and whistles, go over to my YouTube page, Mona E. Harrison. Mona E. Harrison. You'll see the white hair, my trademark. Okay, so you'll see that and you'll know you're at the right spot. Hit subscribe, because it's only allowing me to do 3 minutes, so I'm just going to go do a 3-minute commercial there talking about this video, which will be uploaded tonight or tomorrow. All right, so blessings everybody, have a great day. I will see you tomorrow for Wonderful Wednesday. That's always a good day. All right, blessings, bye.